Spring is here. Very well.
Orders from me.
Spring is sprung. For peace.
If that's what you want.
Beautiful. Gotta cool off. I'll do my best. Time for a swim. Don't get too excited. Let's dream.
I'm listening.
Well? Dreams bring refuge.
If that's what you want.
For peace. Yeah. Beautiful. Gotta cool off. I'll do my best. Time to sleep.
Orders from me.
Spring is sprung. Spring is here. Very well. Gotta cool off. For peace. Well?
If that's what you want.
Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another Camilla Emblem Clear video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Today we're taking on Legendary Sigurd, Fated Holy Knight, in his very own legendary hero battle on Abyssal difficulty. So let's take a closer look at Sigurd himself. Now he comes with Hallowed Turfing, which has a killer slaying effect, also grants him +5 to all of his stats, lets him have a guaranteed follow-up attack, and also gives him some hefty conditional damage reduction against ranged enemies, and also if he's initiating combat. All of this is available as long as the opponent has above or equal to 75% health. So definitely a lot of great stuff packed into one weapon. He also comes with his own unique special, Holy Knight Aura, which at start of turn gives him 1 extra space. Naturally, he is a cavalry unit, so that 1 extra space means that he can move 4 spaces and attack on the 5th space. That is pretty significant. Boost special damage by 25% of unit's attack. That's a hefty chunk of damage considering his attack stat. He got 69 over there. And after combat, if he did proc, trigger his special, grants +6 attack to himself and all allies for 1 turn, and also grants everybody an additional movement space. Obviously, that's pretty ridiculous, especially when you have a map with a lot of high-level enemies with huge abyssal-level stats, and they all can be potential threats, giving them all an additional movement tile, and something you generally speaking want to avoid. Also comes with attack defense catch 4, so that does mean there are a lot of enemies on the map that do bestow penalties on your allies and on your team, and because of that, it does meet that condition to essentially give him +7 to attack and defense. He also comes with attack defense catch 4. There are a number of units and enemies on the map that bestow a debuff or a map-wide debuff all over the place, so it is pretty easy for him to meet this condition where he gets +7 to attack and defense, and if you're at 100% HP, he also ends up getting an additional +2 to attack and defense. He also has his own unique B-slot in Crusader's Ward. If Sigurd receives consecutive attacks and foe's range is equal to 2, the damage is reduced from the second attack onward by 80%. So that's pretty significant damage reduction. You have your Desperation Mages out there, all of the or Brave Mages, or whatever they might be, any attack after the first one is going to be reduced by 80%. That is significant. And if that wasn't annoying enough, he also comes with Fatal Smoke 3. So Fatal Smoke 3, foe cannot recover HP during or after combat, and after combat inflicts deep wounds on the target and foes within 2 spaces of the target. So your team can be afflicted with deep wounds, which essentially means that they can't heal any HP until their next action. I have to admit, was not looking forward to Fatal Smoke 3 being active on an Abyssal level map, since a lot of Gen 1 and Gen 2 units really rely on sustain and heal in order to survive the waves of incoming enemies, and this just kind of throws that out the window. And to top it off, he does have Mystic Boost 3 for the seal, which does allow him to just restore 6 HP after combat every time. That is going to make him even tankier than he already is with all of the substantial damage reduction he enjoys, and it's also going to disable the Wrathful effect on staff units. So you'll see why that's annoying in just a little bit. Now, taking a look at the map orientation as a whole, you have some forested areas, as well as some cliff edge and some walls to take advantage of, and as flyers, obviously we have full reign over the entire map. Now, you would think that the forested areas provide you a decent amount of cover from cavalry units, since they can't pass through those, and Sigurd is obviously a cavalry unit, and while it does do that to some extent, Sigurd's range is just so absurd that it almost, like, the trees here almost serve to highlight how even if you have trees there, Sigurd's still going to be able to reach you. The range he has is absolutely ridiculous. You can see his blue range here, which isn't accurate because as soon as his turn starts, it's going to expand by 1 space. So he basically encompasses the entire danger range that's here. And since he has Holy Knight Aura at a 0-turn cooldown, that means that he's going to do tons of damage upon initiating on you. And not only is he going to do a ton of damage initiating on you, he's going to, even if he dies on that turn, like you have a really tanky blue, all of the other enemies now have an extra movement space and +6 attack. So, again, you just don't want Holy Knight Aura, generally speaking, I think, to proc. I mean, I think you just want to avoid that as a whole. I mean, the enemy reinforcements are here, and they are plentiful, of course. They have some pretty powerful stats and skills, but at the end of the day, Sigurd is really the primary threat here, because once he gets going, and if you let him reach the middle of the map, there's nowhere that you can hide, essentially. Now, how do you deal with Sigurd and his extended range as well as all of that damage reduction? Well, there are a couple of ways to do that. First and foremost, you could put the guard effect on him. The guard effect would essentially neutralize, and Holy Knight Aura would no longer be active, and then he wouldn't have an additional movement tile. So that's actually one potential option. Another way that you could do it is AoE specials. AoE specials are not reduced, they don't suffer any damage reduction as far as I can tell, so if you did opt to employ some AoE specials, they could actually be really useful against Sigurd. Now further, all of the conditions for Hallowed Turfing, other than the Killer Slaying effect, rely on the enemy having above or equal to 75% health. So as long as your unit has below 75% health, he's not going to have those +5 to all of his stats, he's not going to have a guaranteed follow-up attack, and he's not going to have that damage reduction on the first attack. So As long as your units end up going down below that 75% threshold, you're golden as far as doing damage, at least on the initial hit to him. He of course still has Crusader's Ward here for any follow-up attacks. And finally, another way to effectively reduce the threat that is Sigurd is to employ Gravity, as is going to be showcased here. So let's take a closer look at the Camillas themselves. We'll start with Spring Princess Camilla, Summoner supported, plus 10 Dragon Flowers, Speed asset, has Gronraven Triangle Adept, Reposition Draconic Aura for the special, has Lancebreaker for the B slot, Goad Flyers, and Attack Defense Bond 3 for the seal. B slot for Lancebreaker just to disable the Wary Fighter on the Lance armor, as well as Attack Defense Bond 3 just to give her some additional damage in certain scenarios so she can secure some kills. Next we have Tropical Beauty Camilla, merged at plus 10 with 5 Dragon Flowers, has an attack asset, have Packed Blooms Plus on her with an attack Refine, Reposition, Draconic Aura, Swift Sparrow 3 and Swift Sparrow 2 on her A slot and seal respectively, Desperation 3 for the B slot, and Goad Flyers for the C slot. Here we have Flower of Fantasy Camilla, Adrift Camilla, merged at plus 10 with 5 Dragon Flowers, has an attack asset, has her native Book of Dreams, Reposition Draconic Aura, attack Res Bond 4 for the A slot, attack Speed Bond 3 for the seal, Desperation for the B slot, and Hone Flyers for the C slot. And finally, we have Light of Nor Camilla, merged at plus 10 Dragon Flowers, Summoner support, attack asset, has her native Sangreather, Rescue Plus, Miracle for the special, Attack Speed Push 4, Wrathful Staff 3, Goad Flyers, and Renewal 3 for the seal. So keeping in mind the tactics that we talked about when battling Sigurd, we essentially want to make sure that Gravity is deployed on him on every single turn, more or less. We just want to make sure we don't have to deal with him until we're ready to deal with him. So to that end, we have this Bowfighter in front of Sigurd and this Lance Knight. We just want to clear them out on turn 1. The more we can thin the ranks, the better for us, because there are heavy reinforcements. So we're just going to reposition Brave Camilla forward, and she is going to be able to initiate on the Bowfighter and take them out on player phase. That's going to have that great gravity effect deployed on everybody. Next, we're going to use Spring Camilla to take out the Lance Knight, and she's going to use that Lance Breaker to be able to negate the Wary Fighter. Take him out, and then we're just going to saddle up next to them to provide a Hone Flyers buff for the following turn. Enemy is going to approach. We're going to get some additional reinforcements, some range reinforcements, Flyers, and Cavalry. But again, the name of the game, maintaining that gravity on Sigurd. So that, first and foremost, the very first thing we're going to do is attack Sigurd. Now, as you can see here, we do a pretty pathetic amount of damage, but that's not really the point. We just want gravity on him. He has the Mystic Boost, which negates the Wrathful effect, and he has all that tankiness, so we're not going to do a lot of damage. It's just the utility of deploying the gravity. That's what we want, and that's what we're going to get here. Of course, he also has the Fatal Smoke, which is super annoying. That means that I'm going to get Fatal Smoke both on my Brave Camilla and my Spring Camilla, but that you just can't avoid it. So we're just going to reposition Brave Camilla to safety here, and now we're going to take out the Lance Cavalier with Summer Camilla on player phase. It's going to be perfect damage for that kill, and then reposition her to safety. Brave Camilla is going to tank that hit, no problem. Unfortunately, she is not going to enjoy the renewal because of the Fatal Smoke 3. And at this point, again, we want to continue to make sure that Sigurd is gravitied while we're taking out the enemy troops. So first we're going to use Summer Camilla to take out this Sword Flyer on the right side, just player phase and take her out. And then at this point, we're also going to use Adrift Camilla to take out the Axe Flyer. I like her positioning here. I want her to stay here because I also want her to enemy face this green mage. So we're just going to take out the Axe Flyer here right now. Beautiful. And now we're going to use Brave Camilla to actually take out the Blue Cavalier here on the right side of Sigurd, which will put the gravity on Sigurd. The nice thing about that is that since Brave Camilla doesn't really do a lot of damage to Sigurd anyway, that prevents the Fatal Smoke from deploying. So that's actually pretty nice. And then we're just going to move Spring Camilla down to provide the support to Adrift Camilla so that she gets the advantages of all of her bond skills as well as her weapon to be able to take out that green mage. Alright, so we've got the Blue Bow Infantry up here, we've got a Troubadour that spawned, that's always fun, and we have an Axe Fighter that spawned over here in perfect position to allow us to attack, kill him, and get gravity on Sigurd again. Noticing a pattern here? Just want that gravity to make sure that Sigurd does not run amok. And now we're going to go ahead and just take out this Axe Dragon with Adrift Camilla. We don't even have to move. And once again, leaving Adrift Camilla in the range of the enemy, the red flyer up here, because she can absolutely tank that without any problem. Unfortunately, she's not going to be able to enemy phase the red flyer because the Troubadour is going to have Flash Plus, but that's fine. And then we're just going to wait with Summer Camilla here. Now, Brave Camilla is going to sustain a hit from the Troubadour, which is going to, again, deploy the Flash Plus. However, now, because of that, Adrift Camilla is below the 75% threshold for Hollowed Turfing. So she doesn't have to worry about the first hit damage reduction, and she has that Draconic Aura ready to dish out a lot of damage to Sigurd. So she's going to just sandwich herself in there, get all of the goad buffs, as well as the effects of the bond skills, to be able to take out Sigurd along with her native weapon. And she's going to double and take him out on player phase. And at this point, it's just cleanup. The Troubadour is super annoying, so I just want to take her out right away. We're going to use Rescue to pull Spring Camilla out of hiding and be able to initiate and take out the Troubadour right now. There we go. And again, we're just going to pull up. All of my units can actually tank this hit from the red flying mage here. Brave Camilla has the Miracle ready, so yeah, not a problem whatsoever. At this point, we're going to take out the red flyer with Summer Camilla on player phase. Beautiful.
For peace. Beautiful.
Now I just double reposition to get all of the juicy Goat Flyers buffs on Brave Camilla as she initiates on the blue bow over here. And that's it. That is the strategy that I employed with Camilla Emblem to clear Fated Holy Knight Sigurd on his very own legendary hero battle on Abyssal difficulty. Let me know in the comments below what strategies and teams you ended up employing for this Abyssal level map. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Certainly hoping you're all staying safe, healthy, secure, and united out there, and wishing the very, very best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.